Willie D Live.
Did you ever think that they were too hard on you when you were growing up?
Oh yeah, they were strict. They were strict, and like a lot of arbitrary rules. Like, why is this a rule?
Right.
Like, why can't we have ramen noodles? Like, what are all these arbitrary rules about? And
I'm laughing because my son called me one day and he said, "Dad, Mom won't let me go to my friend's house for the weekend." I said, "Well, what's the problem?" He said, "I don't know. I've cleaned my room up. I've done everything she asked me to do, and she always says no if I don't do those things, but I do it, and now she's saying I need to stay home." I said, "Well, what's her reason?" She says that I go out every weekend. And he couldn't understand. He's like, but I did everything,
right?
So, and it was funny to me because I would have let him go because, hey, you did what you were supposed to do.
Yeah,
you did what I asked you to do. Okay, go. But Mom says, "Hey, you go out too much. You need to stay home."
That's what I'm saying. Like, what are these arbitrary rules? Like, I don't understand. But I also think I got the benefit of being the youngest, and once they've out parented with the oldest two, the youngest gets away with a lot more, It's like, whatever.
Did you get whoopings?
I did get whoopings.
What kind of whoopings?
They were with a belt and maybe some with a tree branch.
Yeah.
I think I remember one of those. Yeah. I got whoopings.
When's the last time you got a whooping?
I think I stopped being bad in high school. But I was actually a really, really terrible toddler. I hear stories from several family members about how bad I was. I was really bad.
Yeah. Were you taking charge?
I was taking charge. I would curse at 2 and 3, and even hearing my parents talk about how bad I was, and even cousins and stuff. Yeah, she was terrible. She was terrible. And that's why I'm so empathetic for people who have bad kids, because I'm like, man, there's a hope. There's a future. I was bad, and I was able to
Who put you up to the cursing, though? Where'd you get the cursing from?
So my mom said that there was somebody at my daycare whose parents were going through a divorce. And she said that I would repeat whatever they would say at the daycare. So one day, my dad told me to pick up something. And I told him, "You pick it up, MF."
You told your dad?
I told my dad that at 3. I told my dad that at 3. And they repeat this story all the time. Wow. And then they started washing my mouth out with soap. And then that's when we kind of saw that behavior curve a little bit.
Yeah. If I had said something like that to not my dad wasn't like that, but my mom, if I had said something like that to my mom,
it would have been over with.
Yeah, no, ma'am, which casket color did you like the most? It would have been over. Absolutely over. Real talk. Yeah, they didn't. My mama didn't play that. My mama was that do as I say, not as I do. Stay in the kid's place, go in the room. She was one of those type of mothers. Hey, who has the most power in that courtroom? The judge, the juror, or the prosecution?
I think it depends. Because when you're in a trial, the judge is simply the umpire. We just call balls and strikes. Lawyer makes an objection, another lawyer responds, and we rule. So in some instances, depending on what evidentiary issue it is, it may be something that could make or break a case, right? So if that doesn't come in, maybe that's favorable for the defense, maybe that's favorable for the state. If you're talking about plea bargain agreements, in the initial phases, let's say you have all the evidence in on the case. Prosecutors find out all this information about your criminal history, and you may be somebody who we call in the criminal world true habitual, meaning you've been to prison at least 2 or more consecutive times, and you're now back faced with a third charge that's at least a 3rd-degree felony or higher.
I'm a menace to society.
And your minimum is 25 years. And let's say that that's what the legislature has said. And the prosecutor says, "I'm offering you 25 years on this case." In that case, the prosecutor has the most power. But let's say the prosecutor says, "Your priors were from the 90s. Your priors are drug cases. I'm going to abandon, meaning I'm going to act as if those priors don't exist, which they can do, and I'm going to offer you 5. In that case, prosecutor still has the power. Let's say the prosecutor says, hey, I think you should go to prison, but I'm going to go to the judge and let's see if the judge will give you a probation. Prosecutor tells the judge the probable cause, the facts of the case. Defense attorney tells the judge, my client has a drug issue. They have never gotten treatment. This may be somebody who we need to finally send to treatment. Judge asks the prosecutor, are y'all going to abandon one of those prior prison trips? Because if the prosecutor, one, they can still qualify, but if he screws up on probation, and this is what judges face a lot of times, if they screw up, it's 25 years minimum. Yeah. Yes. And so that's something that we have to consider. Yeah, this person probably needs treatment, but is this somebody who is going to be a good probation candidate? Is this somebody who's going to show up to their probation meetings? Is this person going to be compliant with their treatment program? Are they actually ready for treatment? Because while you can be asking me for a probation, that doesn't mean this person is ready to be sober. And so if they screw up, let's say they have a positive for 3 months consecutively, there's a motion that's filed, meaning that your probation could be revoked based off of those positives. And the minimum you face is 25 years. Or let's say you're in trial and a jury has convicted you and your minimum is 25 years. That's the first number that a jury can consider. So it just depends.